They told me not to make this video. No, seriously, I have been sitting on this for months. Because I knew the moment I press upload, certain people are going to be very upset. But you know what? Somebody has to say it. And today, that somebody is me. You have seen the reels, you have seen the YouTube shorts. Sounds dramatic, right? Almost like a Bollywood movie. Hero against the system, education mafia trying to silence the one brave enough to teach students for free. Very filmy, very emotional, very profitable. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about Shobit Nirvan, also known as Shobit Bhaiya, and his platform Next Stoppers. And more specifically, we are talking about the lies, the manipulation, and the very real students who got hurt in the process. This is going to be a long one. Get comfortable because we are going to go through everything. Okay, so first, let me be clear about something. I'm not making this video because I hate Shobit Nirvan. I'm not doing this to be mean. I'm doing this because thousands of students, my classmates, your classmates, students all across India are being manipulated into spending money they don't have on promises that are not being kept. And that needs to be talked about. So let's start from the beginning. Shobit Nirvan built his brand as a student-friendly YouTube educator. CBSE content, relatable style, hardworking guy who figured things out and wanted to share it. And honestly, at the start, fair enough, respect where it's due. He worked hard and he built an audience, and his free content was genuinely helpful for a lot of students. But then, as it happens with a lot of successful creators, the money opportunity appeared, and Shobit Nirvan made a choice. He decided to launch a course, then another course, then a whole platform, Next Stoppers, Mission Jeet, and that's when things started getting interesting. Because selling a course is fine, plenty of educators do it, but the way you sell it matters, and the way Next Stoppers sells its courses is not, hey, here is good content, check it out. It is a full of emotional manipulation machine, and today we are going to take it apart piece by piece. Let's start with the most dramatic claim of all, the death threats. So at some point, Shobit goes on social media and essentially tells his audience, his young impressionable class 10 and 12 audience, that he is receiving death threats from the coaching mafia, the evil shadowy forces of the education industry who apparently have nothing better to do than threaten a guy who makes YouTube videos. Now, I want you to think about this for exactly 5 seconds. Alan, Fiji, Akash, these are companies doing thousands of crores in revenues every single year. They have tens of thousands of students. They have institutes across the entire country. Their actual competition, their real enemies are companies like Zixwala, Unacademy, Byju's. Those are the battles they are fighting. You genuinely think these companies are sitting in a boardroom somewhere and one of the senior executives stands up and says, "Boys, there's a YouTuber. He has a course called Mission Jeet. Send him threats immediately." Bro, come on. This is not how billion-dollar companies work. They don't care about one course creator. They have bigger problems. And even if they did, death threats over a CBSE course, in what universe does that make sense? But here's the genius, and I use that word very carefully. Here's the genius of this claim. The moment you say you are receiving death threats, two things happen automatically. One, your audience immediately becomes protective of you. They rally behind you. They feel like buying your course is an act of support, an act of rebellion against the system. Suddenly, they are not just buying study material, they are fighting the good fight alongside their hero. 2. Nobody can question you because if anyone says, "I don't think this is real," that person immediately looks suspicious, like they might be part of the mafia, like they are one of the bad guys trying to silence the truth. It is a perfect trap, and a lot of students walked right into it. I have seen the YouTube comments. Students writing things like, "I felt so scared for him. I just wanted to support him, so I bought the course." And that comment breaks my heart a little. Because that student wasn't buying education, that student was buying into a story that was designed specifically to make them feel exactly that way. That is not education, that is emotional manipulation and with a payment gateway at the end. Okay, moving on, let's talk about the toppers. Next toppers, the name itself. The whole brand is built on this idea that they are associated with the best students in India. All India rank 1, CBSE toppers, the cream of the crop. The promotional content is full of it. Our student got All India rank 1, toppers choose next toppers, interviews with students who scored 99%, 98%, sitting there with their parents, emotional music in the background. It looks incredible. It is designed to look incredible. But here is something very important that a lot of people don't know. CBSE officially stopped declaring national toppers after 2020. They stopped intentionally because of the mental pressure it put on students. So when next toppers says All India rank 1, what exactly does that mean? Which exam, which board, which category? Are they talking about a school topper, a district topper, a student who scored 95% and agreed to be in a promotional video? Because topper is an incredibly elastic word when you are trying to sell something. And look, I'm not saying every student they feature scored badly. Some of those students probably genuinely did well. But the question is not whether those students did well. The question is whether they did well because of the course. And the answer almost certainly is that a student who works hard, has good teachers, studies consistently, and happens to also use a next toppers course will do well. But they would have done well anyway. A student who scored 98% while drinking Bisleri water does not prove that Bisleri water helps you score 98%. Correlation is not causation. But at 11 pm, when you are a stressed class 10 student who just watched a crying topper saying, "This course changed my life," you are not thinking about correlation and causation. You are thinking about how to get access to whatever they used. And they know that. They absolutely know that. Now, now we get to my personal favorite part of this entire story, the beautiful, poetic, almost divine intervention known as the CBSE mathematics paper. This year, CBSE decided to do something radical. They decided to actually test the students, not just on memorized formulas, not just on predictable question patterns that have appeared 12 times in last 12 years. They made a paper that required genuine mathematical thinking, application, problem solving, the stuff that actual math is supposed to develop. And students came out of that exam hall absolutely shattered. Now I have seen the Reddit posts, I have seen the YouTube comments, I have seen students saying things like "शोभित भैया ने तो completely अलग पढ़ा के भेजा था." Students who had relied on most important questions lists and guaranteed topics found themselves staring at questions they had never seen before. And here's the thing that about courses that market themselves as exam focused and result oriented. They teach you to pass last year's paper. They give you patterns. They give you shortcuts. They give you these 5 topics will definitely come. But CBSE is not obligated to follow anyone's prediction list. CBSE does whatever it wants. It always has, it always will. Real education teaches you to think. It teaches you to approach an unfamiliar problem and work through it. Formula selling and shortcut teaching gives you confidence that collapses the moment the question looks slightly different from what you practiced. And CBSE, without meaning to, without even knowing it, delivered the most perfect slap to this entire model of guaranteed exam prep. Because when the paper was tough, the students who understood the concepts did fine. The students who had only memorized patterns were lost. The irony is almost poetic. The very board that Shobhit claimed was being used against him by the coaching mafia ended up being the one that exposed exactly what his coaching was missing. Now we get to the section that genuinely makes me angry. Not sarcastic angry, actually angry. Because this one isn't about clever marketing. This one is about real students, real money, and real broken promises. Next toppers launched a course called Brahmastra. Now, Brahmastra, the name of a divine weapon from Hindu mythology, very powerful sounding, very bold, and the selling point wasn't just course content, it was physical study materials, hardboards, notebooks, actual tangible things that would arrive at your house. This is smart, actually, because physical materials make parents feel like they're getting something real for their money. It's not just a password to a website, it's a product, something you can touch. So parents said yes, students enrolled, money was paid. Multiple students in my own school bought this course, and then they waited and waited, and the hard boards didn't come. The study materials didn't arrive. Weeks passed. For some students, months passed. Most of them either got their materials very late, got incomplete kits, or didn't get them at all. Now, imagine being a class 10 student who sat down with your parents, showed them the course page, convinced them to spend their money, and then had to tell them 3 months later that the thing you ordered never arrived. Imagine the conversation. That is not a technical issue, that is not a shipping delay. That happens to every company sometimes. There is a fundamental failure to deliver what was promised to students who trusted you, students who already under enormous pressure, students who genuinely believed this course was going to help them, and the response from next toppers was vague, delayed, the classic. We are working on it. Please wait. No real accountability, no refunds offered, no clear timeline. If a local coaching center did this, if your neighborhood tuition teacher took money for study materials and never delivered, your parents would be at the door. There would be complaints, there would be consequences. But online, you post on Reddit, get a few sympathetic comments, and move on. And unfortunately, these platforms know that. They count on the fact that most students and parents won't take any formal action. They count on you just letting it go. That is not acceptable. That has never been acceptable. And it needs to be said loudly. Let's zoom out for a second. Because everything we have talked about today, the death threats, the fake topper claims, the sympathy content, the unfulfilled promises, it all connects to one central strategy. And once you say it, you cannot unsay it. It is called sympathy marketing. And Shobit Nirvan has essentially built his entire course selling operation on it. Here's how it works. Step 1. Make yourself relatable. I was just like you. I struggled. I didn't have money for coaching. I figured it out on my own. Relatability established. You feel like he understands you. Step 2. Identify an enemy. The coaching mafia doesn't want you to succeed. The system is designed to keep you down. They want to keep knowledge expensive. Enemy identified. Now you and him are on the same side. Step 3. Offer hope. But I found a way. I cracked the code and I want to share it with you. You lean in, you want to know. Step 4. Make yourself a martyr. And now that I am sharing it, they are threatening me, they are trying to silence me. Hero status confirmed. Now you don't just want his course, you want him to survive. You want to protect him. Step 5. Purchase. Join Mission Jeet, get Brahmastra, support the movement. And now buying the course feels like an act of loyalty, like you are part of something bigger than an online class. This is not education. This is a 5-step story structure with a payment gateway at the end. And it is incredibly effective on stressed, anxious teenagers who want to believe that someone out there genuinely cares about them and wants them to succeed. Real educators don't need villains to sell their content. Khan Academy doesn't have a coaching mafia story. Lakshmi Singh doesn't tell you that someone is trying to stop you from reading it. Good teachers build trust through the quality of their teaching, not through the drama of their personal narrative. When someone needs a villain to sell you their product, ask yourself why. Because if the product was genuinely excellent, the product would speak for itself. Okay, I have been going hard for a while now, so let me shift gears for a minute. If you are watching this and you have already bought one of these courses, that's okay. You are not stupid, you are not gullible. You are a student under enormous pressure in a competitive system, looking for any edge you can find, and someone offered you exactly what you need to hear at exactly the right moment. This is not your fault. That is their calculation. But going forward, here is what actually works. I promise you, these things will serve you better than any Brahmastra or Mission Jeet. Number 1, NCRT. I know, I've heard it 100 times, but it's true. For CBSE, NCRT is the foundation. Any course that tells you it's a shortcut past NCRT is not helping you. It is cutting corners on your actual understanding. Number 2, free YouTube content. It is genuinely incredible right now. Mathematics has fantastic channels, science, English, social studies, all of it. The free content available to you today is better than what students had access to 10 years ago in paid coaching. Use it. Number 3, past year papers. Not to memorize the answers, to understand the pattern of thinking that CBSE tests. Solve them under timed conditions. Analyze where you went wrong. That process, that genuine self-assessment is more valuable than any important questions list. Number 4, r/CBSE and online communities. The students there are going through exactly what you are going through. They share notes, they answer doubts, they give honest feedback about what is working and what isn't. It's one of the most genuinely useful spaces for CBSE students on the entire internet. And number 5, before spending any money on any online course, please talk to your parents. Ask the platform for verifiable evidence of their results. Ask other students who have taken the course. Look for reviews that aren't on their own website. If a course is genuinely good, reviews exist outside of their promotional material. You are capable of doing extraordinarily well in your exam, not because of any course or any bhaiya or any brahmastra, because you are willing to put in the work. That is the only thing that has ever actually mattered. So let me wrap this up. What have we established today? Shobit Nirvan and Next Toppers built a course selling machine on emotional manipulation, death threats that make no sense, designed purely to generate sympathy and rally students into purchases. Topper testimonials that can be independently verified and almost certainly don't prove that what they claim. A tough CBSE math paper that revealed exactly what happens when shortcut education meets a board that refuses to be predictable, and a course Brahmastra that promised physical study materials to real students, took their real money and failed to deliver. This isn't a small thing. This isn't just online drama. This is a pattern of behavior that has real consequences for real students and their families. And the reason I'm saying this, the reason I spent all this time making this video is because I believe you deserve better. You deserve educators who earn your trust instead of manipulating your emotions. You deserve platforms that make promises they can actually keep. You deserve to spend the next year focused on actually learning, not on feeling like you are part of someone else's marketing campaign. If this video helped you in any way, if it made you think twice, or if it saved you or your classmates from spending money on something that won't deliver what it promises, please like it. It helps more people find it. Subscribe if you want to stick around, and drop a comment telling me, did students in your school buy these courses? What was their experience? Because the more we talk about this openly, the harder it becomes for any platform to hide behind sympathy and drama. I'll see you in the next video. Study smart, stay skeptical, and remember, you don't need a Brahmastra. You never did.